Let's bring in our headliner. California Congressman Devin Nunes joins us, the ranking member on the House Intelligence Committee. Congressman, thank you for coming on. We're hearing from just about everybody this morning, and it seems tensions are rising. Where do you stand at this moment?
Well, I just think I'm just ashamed. I mean, this is just nonsense. I mean, the speaker disinviting the president is totally ridiculous. It should never happen like this. And I think it's just a sign of our times, right? I think if the speaker was to cave, she would probably be ousted by her membership. So she's in a very, very weak position. Even yesterday, for example, there was a bill on the floor where we were only 6 Democrats away. If 6 Democrats would have voted with us, we would have actually won one of the pieces of legislation on the floor yesterday. So she's very weak. She's getting weaker by the day. But I think overall, this is just bad for America, bad for the country.
What was that legislation related to that you're describing there?
It was actually on an amendment that we put onto their spending bill. So it was about paying federal employees. And so we came 6 votes away from actually winning that amendment and sending a bill to the Senate that would have paid all the federal employees and, of course, built the wall.
Wow. Here is Nancy Pelosi from last night. She said this.
You come at a time when the government is shut down. Sadly, with this shutdown, the White House is not showing respect for the American people.
Respect for the American people. He's talking to a group of mayors in Washington, D.C. What about that?
Look, I just think that the speaker is very, very weak. If you look at the number of what I would say extreme left people that are socialist, that are promoting socialism here in Washington, they're the ones running the conference. And so it's not, I don't think she had a choice politically, even if it wasn't what I would say is the right thing for the American people.
Well, what we know at this point is that that State of the Union address will not be delivered next Tuesday. It's been put back. American people are watching this all unfold. It's almost hard to believe it at sometimes, Congressman. I mean,
yeah.
I think I know the answers, but who's winning in this? Because the American people feel like they're losing out. I'm sure you talk to them on the street like we do.
Yeah, I mean, look, I think there's some people that actually wonder whether or not this State of the Union has become too bloated and is just full of politics and not really doesn't, whether or not it achieves something or not. But I think regardless, the President of the United States should have a platform to go out and speak directly to the American people and to the Congress to lay out his priorities. And this has been a custom for a very long time. And I don't know why it's been done away with, but it doesn't make a lot of sense.
We're dealing with some new times here, and I know you're well aware of that. A couple more topics now. Michael Cohen's not going to testify on the February 7th date that he had originally designed, or planned rather, with House Democrats. He's talking about ongoing threats against his family, and the president addressed that yesterday. Here's how he reacted to the White House.
I would say he's been threatened by the truth. He's only been threatened by the truth. And he doesn't want to do that probably for me or other of his clients. He has other clients also, I assume, and he doesn't want to tell the truth for me or other of his clients.
What is your position on Cohen not testifying? Did you want him to appear? Were you eager to hear what he had to say or not?
Yeah, this may come as a surprise to both you and the viewers. I actually wanted Cohen to come testify. So his lawyer was out recently talking about how whether or not Cohen knew about the Trump, remember the Trump Tower meeting that everybody talks about, that this is where the Trump people were really willing to collude with the Russians? I actually want to know whether or not that was true. I don't think it was true. But what there needs to be more focus on is the fact that I don't think that Mueller and his investigators are even looking at who was behind setting up that Trump Tower meeting. So nobody has ever interviewed, as far as I know, the special counsel hasn't interviewed Glenn Simpson and Fusion GPS. We know that Glenn Simpson, and who are these people? These are the people who were working for the Clinton campaign, digging up dirt on President Trump, okay, at the time candidate Trump. He met with them before and after. So I would love to have Cohen in Congress answering some of these tough questions. Whether, saying that he's getting threatened seems pretty silly to me.
Well, Congressman Jim Jordan suggested something almost similar. He suggested that perhaps Democrats on the committee came to this realization. Watch.
maybe they got finally sensitive to this fact that the first big hearing they were doing, they were bringing a guy in to testify in front of Congress who in 5 weeks is going to prison for lying to Congress. Maybe at some point they actually understood, well, that may not be the best thing to do. So I don't know what Mr. Cummings is going to do. I don't know how this is going to work out. All I know is we're focused on getting the truth out. And if Mr. Cohen comes, we're going to be prepared to ask him the questions that we think the American people deserve answers to.
Exactly. Right? We wanted Cohen to come in. So I think this is all, it makes no sense that he's using the excuse that he's been threatened. That doesn't make sense.
There's a piece today in the Wall Street Journal. I don't know if you've seen it or not. Kimberly Strausel wrote it, talking about Bruce Ohr with the FBI. The title is What Bruce Ohr Told the FBI. Her first line is, everybody knew. Inside the piece, the Ohr testimony is evidence the FBI itself knows how seriously it erred. The FBI has been hiding and twisting facts from the start. The case she makes is that Bruce Ohr went to the FBI in the summer of 2016 and said, look, we don't know where this stuff came from. You should look into it. You should check it out. But I can't tell you that it's pure. That's the case she's making, and that everybody in leadership of the FBI knew about it. Does that line up with what you have discovered?
Well, yes, and why is this important? I think this is the more important question, Bill. We were told by numerous top officials within the Department of Justice and FBI that they did not know about the dossier until the middle of September, just prior to getting a FISA warrant on Carter Page. We now know that that is totally bogus, totally untrue. In fact, they were given this right at the end of July, right at the 1st of August, and so somebody there has to be held accountable. Not to mention, who was in this meeting? Who did Bruce Ohr brief? He briefed 4 people that are on the special counsel. 2 have been fired. 2 are still there. 1 is the actual leader of the special counsel, the deputy to Bob Mueller. So nobody's asking these questions about, are these people conflicted out? They were in the chain of custody.
Strausel writes this. Mr. Ohr worked for the Justice Department, by the way, when he gave his testimony to Congress back in August. Mr. Ohr told this team the information came from the Clinton camp and warned that it was likely biased and certainly unproven, end quote.
Exactly. And so that information, so they knew this right at the end of July, right at the 1st of August. They likely knew it even ahead of time, I would guess. But look, I want to make sure people understand this point. This was evidence. So you have 2 people that are currently on the special counsel that were in the chain. They were taking evidence that now they're using. So, likely if they were actually bringing any of this to a court, if they did not reveal these conflicts that they had in terms of the chain of custody of this evidence, whatever it is they may be finding, I don't think they're going to find any collusion at all, except with the Democrats and the Clinton campaign if they actually look.
You're suggesting the evidence would be thrown out in a court of law.
That's right.
Devin Nunes, thank you for your time, sir, the Republican from California.
Thank you, Congressman.
Thank you.